It's great to be back home, guys, and welcome to Recon. And here on this day, we're going to be talking about, and I've got a little slide behind me if you can see it, the four-letter word that you're going to hear most often in real estate from your clients. And that four-letter word is wait. We want to wait because, and fill in the blank. And I was trying to think of a great analogy for you, a parallel, and I always wanted to challenge you to think about parallel. So I was using, in my mind, I was playing with golf. Okay, so what can you count on most of the time when you play golf? And I would say most of the time you play golf, you're going to have to count on making a shaky knee 6-foot putt. And those are the hard ones. You want to make it to get the score you want, right? Well, I can promise you, you work in real estate, you're going to hear this objection more often than any other objection. You want to wait because. That's what we're going to cover today. So Louise, tell people how they can get in line to participate. This is going to be a fast 30 minutes, and I'm going to introduce for the very first time on the planet a new model I want you to write down.
Okay, guys, participation equals growth. To participate, kindly post in the chat your names, and I will add you to the participant list. And the first role play will be with none other than Denny. And Darlene is the first one up. Jose,
so, Darlene, we're going to go into this in a second, but I want us to follow a certain model. So I'm going to give you the model up front. And although it might be awkward, just like a golf lesson, you have to change your grip. Well, that doesn't feel so good. I want you to consider this model because it will help you in the future. We're not going to get away from the original objection handling model, which is 4 steps. Louise will put it in there, I'm sure. The 4 steps, if you're taking notes, first of all, you want to acknowledge, then you want to isolate / clarify. That's step 2, answer, and then ask a closing or follow-up question. What we're doing down here now is drilling down into, I want you to acknowledge, you can acknowledge it if you want to. One note on acknowledgement, guys, and Don, make this in Don's dictionary, okay? Okay. One of the things I want the master agents to get away from is using the acknowledgement I understand. I've used it a lot, probably too much. And here's what I've learned. You're going to maybe hear some things from your clients, and maybe even today in our practice, that you've never heard before. Is it possible you don't understand? So we'll think of something else. I see, or something like that. We're going to get away from the I understand as the acknowledgement. You can then do the isolation. Other than that, is there anything else keeping you from moving forward? Then you're going to go into the 4 C's. The first 3 C's, basically, to help on the clarify, are going to help them and you understand their thinking. The 4th C is for you to expand their thinking. So if you're taking notes, here they are. And we're going to go through these one at a time. So I am with Darlene.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. All right. Darlene, I want to wait. I want to wait until my lawsuit gets settled before I buy.
Oh my goodness, Denny. Well, I see. So now help me understand a little bit more about your needing to do the wait and how this is significant to you.
Well, the lawsuit, I get a big settlement. And it's been going on for several years. I expect that maybe to happen in the future. And so when I get this settlement, I'll be ready to buy.
Okay, well then, when you are ready to buy, what are the things that you're looking for?
All right, now you're slipping into criteria. People slip into criteria when they don't know what else to say. Criteria probably is not important right now. Does that make sense? I've got the 2nd C up there. When I say criteria, I'm referring to how many bedrooms, this, that, and the other. The criteria here I'm asking for example, all right, the lawsuit, I said they're expected to settle this year. Has anyone ever worked with someone waiting for a lawsuit or settlement to come in? There's a script for that. It's called Grab a Snickers. It's going to be longer than they think. So I would get into a little bit more right now about, okay, so tell me more about that. How long has it been going on? What kind of evidence do you have for when this is going to take place? And maybe you were doing that, but it sounded like you were trying to get the criteria of the home. Does that make sense? Because you saw criteria there.
I saw criteria, but I didn't know if I see the model, and I didn't know if I would be stepping on toes digging into his personal business. But if this is a client that I've been working with, then yes, I would get into more specifics about what does this lawsuit involve? How long is it going to take? How long has it been going on? That
Right. What I want you to understand here, here's the simplest thing about this. And you might hear it from someone else here. I want to wait for interest rates to drop. Okay. I want to wait for world peace. What I want you to, what are they waiting for and how will they know when they're there? The settlement of the lawsuit, I'll know when it's there. But if I wait for interest rates to drop, too many of us are stopping right there. And rather than saying, okay, well, drop to what? You see, just like a good goal, make sure that you have a number in it. Now, I won't spend a lot of time here on my stupid example of a lawsuit. I would just probably say, here's what I would want to know. How long has the lawsuit been going on? Have you heard before that it was supposed to settle and it didn't? With your best guess, what is your timeline on when that may happen? Again, all general questions. One of the things I like about what's taking place, and this is what I want you to model in the future role plays, is I'm not feeling any pressure from her from like, oh, crap, you got to be neutral. All right. The third C, consequences. In this case, what are the consequences? You are waiting for something to happen. What are the consequences if that does not happen? So what question would you ask there, Darlene?
Well, how would waiting actually benefit you? Couldn't you just move forward anyway?
Well, no, I mean, I'm supposed to get like $300,000, and that would be more than enough for a down payment so we can live on Boardwalk and Park Place. And right now, short of that, we probably can't afford to buy.
Well, I see. That does make a difference for you from the
Perfect.
financial perspective. Yeah.
I'm going to give you the fourth C for taking notes.
All right.
Consider. Now, I led you up into the point of basically, if I don't get the $300,000, I may not be able to buy. So now the fourth C is helping them see the other side of the coin. Like, for example, on interest rates. Well, if interest rates don't drop to 6%, how's that going to affect your plans? Well, we have a baby coming on, blah, blah, blah. And now you're going to say, well, do you mind if I share some things that you may not have thought about? Is it the interest rates you're waiting for, or is it the monthly investment that you're considering? So are you waiting for your house value to go up so you can buy another house and that value is going up? What we're doing is spending 3 questions. They don't have to be 15 questions each. But the first 3 questions is seeking to understand rather than trying to change or move them into, well, wait a minute. It's only $5 a day. Do y'all follow that? Now, I know it was kind of awkward the first time you're seeing this, Darlene. You're learning a new dance step and never seen it displayed. So let's go into number 2. Louise, who's number 2? And let's see if we can't model these steps. And they don't have to be lengthy, but it will give you a pattern to follow.
Jose and Dawn are next up.
Okay. Don, you want to wait because?
Well, Jose, we gotta wait. She's in line for a big job promotion, so we're gonna wait till that happens.
Oh, that's great news for Maureen, Don.
Good for me too.
Yes, and you too. Help me understand. We've been looking for the last 2 months.
Yeah,
Did we know this all along?
well, yeah, I mean, it's been in the works, sure.
Got it. We'll do whatever is best for you, right? But what's the flip side if she doesn't get this big promotion?
Oh, she's gonna get it. It's just a matter of when.
Okay. And you guys are willing to wait whatever that amount of time is?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay. Now, given that new information, how can I best serve you guys while we wait on this promotion to come through?
I guess start sending us a a list of more expensive homes, nicer areas, bigger houses. Changes everything.
I can do that for you, Don. Now let me play devil's advocate for a little bit. What happens if that promotion falls through?
We really haven't considered that. She's been at SRP for a long time, and it's coming. It's just a matter of when.
Okay. And we're willing to take that gamble and just to see what happens. It wouldn't do much for your plans if we don't get that promotion.
Sorry, I'm not following that question.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want you guys to get that promotion, right? Do we need to prepare in the worst case scenario that doesn't happen? What do we need to do then?
Well, I guess we'd have to reconfigure, but we really haven't considered that, Jose.
Okay. It sounds like I just need to be on the bench with you and wait on this promotion to happen and see what I can do in the meantime, right?
But I'll pop in here. So nice job at attempting to follow the model. I mean, you're asking some great questions, but the natural thing is, okay, so, well, let me ask you, Don, have you ever considered what you could do if you don't have the promotion? Have we explored all the opportunities based on your current situation for you to step in to ownership?
Maybe we haven't.
You see, eventually what you want to do, if there is a remedy that they may not have considered, all right, so that's the road I would travel down. Remember, you spent time understanding the situation. You have kind of a handle on it. I want you to always be thinking, all right, so what are they not thinking about? Is there a possibility, for example, they want to go to a nicer house? Well, okay. If that were possible under your current scenario with Maureen in her current job, is that an idea you would explore? That is the entry level to the other side of the coin, but there's no pressure attached to it. Again, sometimes there may not be any clarity we can offer them that they haven't already thought about. But again, what I'm attempting to model and give you some dance steps is spend some time in getting clarity on their situation. Have they quantified how will they know when they're there? When she gets her promotion, they will know they're there. Waiting for interest rates to fall or waiting for a better time to buy or waiting for season is not quantifiable. And one of the things I'm attempting to have you learn is you really can't help someone until you help them quantify it. Does that make sense, you guys? So that was a nice level of questioning, Jose. Nice job. Next.
Okay, next up. Next up is Tanner and Kelly.
All right, Tanner. Hey,
All right.
man. Listen, I've got the money lined up, but to buy, but I'm waiting because I don't want to buy right before a market drop.
I understand, Kelly. And just so you know, I'm on the same page. Aside from waiting for the market and stuff like that, was there anything else, keeping you from making a move?
There's the isolation. Good job. Keep going.
No, not really.
Got it. So help me understand, when you say you want to wait about the market and everything, can you just help me understand what is it that you're hoping to accomplish exactly?
Well, man, I'm having some family pressure here, and my parents keep telling me that prices are going to crash. So every time I think I'm ready, they make me second guess myself.
So is it more of a affordability or the pressure from a family or a will issue, I would say?
Well, my dad keeps sending me YouTube videos, and man, I'd have to say he's saying prices are going to fall 20% every time I talk to him. So I think it's family pressure.
Got it. And Kelly, what made you really want to make this move in the first place?
Well, I eventually want to get a house. I have the money for it, but I really don't want to hear it at every meal that I've pissed off the family.
And when the idea first came to your mind, was that before the family, started pressuring you, or when did this whole thing started though?
When I was just talking to my dad about it, wanting to buy a house, and he studies
I'm going
that
to pause.
stuff quite a bit.
Pause just for a second. Okay. So interesting role play. Where do you think he keeps referring to, but where is the pressure coming from? Tanner?
So I was gonna go back to see when they started to looking like, because the market's changed, was it like they're hoping to get the interest rate, something? I was trying to dig in that aspect. I was
How
gonna
many
go
people-
see how back, like how prior this started. When did it really started?
I got that. So here's the thing I'm thinking, and that wouldn't be a bad, but how many people would agree that I'm hearing it's the market conditions is really being dictated by him trying to please family. Are you all hearing that? So if that's the case, is it really about the market? Here's the question that I would ask, and I'm going to ask it. You don't have to ask it, Tanner. We'll see what Kelly says. Well, so it sounds like you're getting advice from your family and they think you ought to wait. How will, based on their opinion or your understanding of their opinion, how will you know when it's the right time? This is right here. How will they know when you're there?
Well, I've never really thought about it like that. But I guess, next year if the market drops 20%, my dad's going to probably be in my corner and say, I told you so. That's why I wanted you to wait.
What if it goes up 20%? What is he going to say? Notice I'm helping him see. I'm going a little bit out of the order, but I'm really trying to attempt to put the shoe on the other foot. Well, what if it goes up and you don't act? What's he going to say?
Probably respond to the negative the same way.
What if it never goes down? How will that, here we go. How does that affect your plans?
Well, it would affect it quite a bit. Wouldn't be able to move forward with what we want to do.
And then the question you asked, you were going into motivation. So my question is, well, let me ask you one more question. When you make the investment purchase, how long do you intend to be there? You guys never forget that question. That is one of your top 5 questions you want to make sure you ask someone in a buying process, because I can tell you, real estate is 100% a great investment if what? You sell at the right time. Like, don't sell your Taylor Swift tickets the day after the concert. You get what I mean, Vern? They don't carry the same value. So how long are you going to be there, Kelly?
Well, we'd like to be there. We're pretty stable people. We'd like to be there 10, 15 years. We just had kids.
So my question is this. In that horizon, does it matter any minor fluctuations? That was a question. Another question is, what are you willing to wait 5, 10 years for your family to give you the seal of approval?
No, I think if I waited that long, I wouldn't be able to forgive myself.
Believe me, I mean, if you ever work in a situation where you got family involved, it's a little bit tricky. But just like I think Danielle said, there's a lot of folks here that feel like you're in real estate working from your identity, not your role. Like, for example, you don't want to get into their personal information. That's because you're not going to walk into Starbucks and ask them how much money they make. But when you're working with them to buy a home, that's your role as the agent. And you can ask those questions. Like, the doctor's not going to go into Starbucks and say, please take your clothes off, put this robe on. But in his office or her office, it's appropriate. Y'all follow what I'm saying? So you have to get past that. When you're working as the professional, particularly as a master agent, you are in role, not identity. Next, Louise.
Okay, next it's me with Scott.
Hey, Louise.
Hi.
This will be a good one. All right, Scott, let's go.
Let's go. Okay, Louise, are you ready to move forward?
Oh yeah, of course. We're ready to move forward. We just don't know which direction we're headed.
Okay. Well,
Let me rephrase that. We're waiting until we know which school our daughter is going to get into.
Ah, I see. So she's applying to different schools. Where are you hoping to get her into?
Well, she's a rising sophomore, and she's pursuing a medical program in the
Right.
county.
And you want to be close to her school, or what's stopping you from looking at houses now?
Yes, we absolutely want to be close to her school. We're just not sure which school she's going to get into,
Oh,
which
I see.
program.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's definitely a consideration. And is that the only thing that's stopping you from really going out seriously and looking at homes?
Yes.
The only thing is, if you're going to do an, hang on, just keep your thoughts. I'll love listening to this. If you're going to go into the isolation, is that the only thing keeping you from going out and looking at houses? Yes, but that is not a very, very firm commitment. What you want to do, is that the only thing keeping you from making a purchase decision at this time, or moving forward with me at this time? If you're going to take the isolation part way, take it all the way. Have you ever had a client that loves looking at houses and they just never buy? That's not the goal. Does that make sense, Scott? Keep going.
Yes.
Keep going.
Okay. What do I? So, Louise, is that the only thing that's holding you back from looking at homes to purchase?
Not looking, not looking, not looking. I
I
hate
put
people
it in
looking at
chat.
home.
Oh,
Chat.
okay. Look at the chat. I can't look at the chat. Okay. So, Louise,
Hmm.
how far apart are these schools?
Not important.
Not important.
What's important? Louise, when will you know where your daughter is going to be accepted?
We'll actually know around the beginning of August.
This August?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Louise,
next month. All right, keep going.
So Louise, you're already behind the 8 ball. We've got to get out there and start.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I feel real bad now. I'm behind
Why?
the 8 ball.
Yeah, totally.
Let's rewind it. Ask again.
Well, Louise, August is right around the corner. We should get together and get our plans in order. Pick the schools. Look in those. Look, can't say look again. Pick the schools and commit to.
Hang on, I want to take the shovel out of your hand. You're already 6 feet down. Kind of understand. I've had a lot of people, because school zones are important. The way I understand it, Louise, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're not going to move into the Wellington school district, unless you get accepted there, correct?
Correct.
So how can they get their ducks in a line to go look at houses to buy in an area they don't know they need to be in? Does that make sense?
It does. Well, I want the commitment that they're going to work with me, no matter what school they get into. So,
well, hang on a second. This is where you didn't get clarity. Where I understood her, they are living in point A right now. They've applied to Wellington. If she doesn't get accepted, this was a question in my mind. If they don't get accepted into Wellington, what happens next, Louise? She did not really say they're moving to another school district. So let me get clarity there. I think you assumed that. What happens if you don't? Because this is part of the curiosity. What happens if she doesn't get accepted into Wellington?
So
Don't
Louise,
ask it. This is to Louise. Louise, what happens if she doesn't get accepted to Wellington?
Well, we know she'll be accepted into one of the two medical schools. They're just in opposite directions.
Okay, so are you saying then that when she gets accepted, that will be the green light for you then to get serious about looking in that area to own a home?
Yes.
Okay, and you said you would know by August, right?
Yes.
Do you know when in August?
The letters of acceptance will be provided around the middle of August.
Middle of August. Okay, now they're looking at two areas. So Scott, I'll let you land the plane. What would you do with that? Anybody have an idea how they would handle that?
Scott was actually on the right track, I thought, when he said, so why don't we look at
those places
in this school or in the areas in that school, and you'll be ready once you get the result.
Well, the way he was wording it, you're already behind the 8 ball, was suggesting if you don't make a decision now, and you got it, and August is coming. Now, I would have said, and you interpreted it maybe differently. Well, okay, so how could we best prepare you, Louise, for both either option?
Oh, it's asking a question. So Scott, what you were doing, what you were saying, but you want to ask a question to keep me engaged.
I got it. All right.
Then
So Louise, do you think that it's smart, since we're right up against the deadline, really, because your daughter's going to start school in down in Florida, they start it in August, right? Do you want to be prepared? Can she go to the school and look for a house afterwards? Is that within
I like Denny's question a lot better.
Dan's
That's
question?
where you're asking me if I can figure it out and then you provide the solution. What can we do so that you'll be prepared for either school? And then you provide the solution. Is that where you were going, Denny?
Well, I think we're I don't think they have to be living there to qualify to go to the school, Scott, like school zones, school districts. I think once they understand where she's going to school, they will then put their focus on buying a house there. So where I'm attempted to take them, and I wouldn't have said, well, hey, look, you didn't say behind the 8 ball, but you already said we're already behind. I don't think. I would have said it differently. Well, we're in a great position now because we've got now maybe 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks to educate ourselves on either option. So when you get the word, you'll be ready to go. Would that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that would
Where
make
you-
a lot of sense.
What'd you say?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. How do we do that?
All right. So now what I was hearing from you based on your tone, well, we're behind 8 ball. We ought to go. You were thinking they had to buy a home before mid-August. It sounded to me, was that right?
Yeah. Kind of like they want to make the move, but then I kind of switched tracks and I said to myself, well, maybe they could commute to that school and then look for a house after the semester starts.
So you go, hey, Louise, would you consider, because we have the benefit now, and we're not behind the 8 ball, because we have the benefit of several weeks that we can bear down and then get an idea if when you get the word, you already have your two favorite homes picked out in each area.
Yeah, I would consider that. That's a good solution.
That's where I would go with that.
Yeah.
That is a situation there. Can you understand that many times what we're doing, and I was thinking about this, and I just love thinking about stuff. We'll close, we'll go into a little bit of overtime if you want, you can ask some questions. I was working with chat saying, what is our goal of the appointment to see if we can help them? And then I started thinking about that. I think it's actually more than that. I think this model that we're talking about here, particularly when you think about the first 3 questions, is helping you and to them to understand their thinking. What our goal is, I think, as the agent, is not to make an appointment and get a contract signed. I stated it's make an appointment to find out how we can help them. I think it's deeper than that. Our goal is to help them. Our goal is to understand what their goals are, what their situation is, and what their options are, and help them make the best educated decision that they can make for them. And if we feel they're making the wrong decision, then we can share with them, which is number 4, the consider part. While you're waiting for interest rates to go to 6%. Would you consider would you consider a new idea? Well, for example, if they stayed where they are, do you realize that it's $5 a day? So would that keep you from moving forward with ownership? Notice I don't ever say purchase or buy. I use the word ownership. So raise your digital hand if you want to ask a question or dig down at any of these things. This is one of the things that professionals, golfers practice all the time. And I don't know if the number 6 foot, maybe 7 foot, maybe 4 foot. They practice 6-foot putts over and over and over because you know what? On every round, they're going to have one. And those are called money putts. Any golfers in there in the chat, you can put it in there. And your buddies are not doing you a favor by giving you those short putts because you never get good at them. Practicing I'm want to wait is going to be one of those 6-foot putts we want to work on. So raise your digital hand. Well, I got several up. So Robert, what's up? You're
So
muted.
how long do you dance around this issue before you start to realize that this may just be a waste of time?
So already I'm picking up. This is what I want you to listen for. His word, just like Scott said, 8 ball. Dance around implies to me that I'm wasting time.
No, I mean, but how long do you like go through these 4 C's and stuff like that before you realize that these people aren't going to make a move at all? Or they're never going to get, I mean, like you brought up the very first one, the fact that, well, I've got this settlement coming. I mean, I had a client last summer exactly that way. Well, I've got this settlement coming and it's coming anytime and yada yada yada, and the settlement never came. I mean,
Right.
and we went
I've
and looked
got
at houses and picked out houses, had a house that he wanted and things like that. And it was just a nonsensical waste of my time is what it ended up being.
Well, the rules are for buyers and sellers are kind of the same. We have a rule that there's no such thing as a bad listing, just a bad listing owner. And what is the rule? They have to have something. What's the word? It starts with an M and ends at O. Ends in
Motivation.
motivation. A buyer, and it has to be in the same category. They have to have some motivation. They also have to have the means. Now, the interesting thing is when you look at a buyer and seller, does the seller have the means to sell most of the time?
Yeah.
If they have equity, or even if they're upside down equity and they can make up the difference, they have the means.
Right.
Buyers, on the other hand, may be motivated. Yeah, I'd like to buy, but I have no job, no credit, and I have a tax lien. I'm in prison. Now, you don't have to do any dancing to figure out they're probably not ready, able, and willing. So so there's no dancing. If they don't have motivation, I don't care how much money they have. If a buyer has money or a motivation, now you go into the means. Make sense, Robert?
Yeah.
Tanner.
I just want to add, Danny, like this formula work all the time for me, the isolation, the whole structure. And when you add, of course, you've said it, you have to be very knowledgeable of your market area so you could really have an understanding and create the strategies that could help him potentially. I just wanted to add that. I believe, it could be helpful.
Did I miss the question?
Okay, so let me ask you this. In my case, though, when you say don't go back too much to the prior market, whatever it is, you mentioned to focus on more like how much effect the family has, or like you know what I'm saying, like so focus on exactly what the situation is rather than play around with it, I guess.
Janet, would you just Google golf? Will somebody teach Janet how to play golf? She doesn't understand golf analogies. You take a white ball, hit it in the hole. All right, so let's go back to his role play. Remember, that's the one Kelly wanted to wait for the market to get, he didn't want to buy in the market going down, but he mentioned family a couple different times. Because if he'd have mentioned it once, I don't know if I'd drilled down there, but because he mentioned it more than one time, I thought that's probably where it was coming from. So in my opinion, it had nothing to do with he wasn't asking you what the market was going to do. He kept referring to what his family thought the market was going to do. And that led me to believe that's probably where the fire was. That's where the smoke was coming from. I think that's where the fire was. Did you guys get the same impression that we're on?
Got it.
And again, in your role as an agent, is any question that helps you get clarity to help them is fair game. Any question when you walk into a Starbucks and see a stranger for the first time is not fair game. Does that make sense?
Totally, Danny. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a shout out that was made to you from Leah McCann on Pivot twice within about a week's time. I thought you'd like to hear it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that would be great. Leah, I
Yeah.
didn't. Okay, great.
She referenced how she learned some great things from you, and one of them was you don't list a seller, you list the seller's motivation.
Nice. Leah, if you're ever on, pop up. We'd like to say hi to you. Leah was one of our team leaders. Anything else, guys? I got a minute. It's good to be back home in my studio. All right. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Mastery, 9:30 to 10:30.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
before you go,
Yeah.
I said that incorrectly. You never list the price, you list the motivation, and you track motivation. Does that sound better?
Yeah, that's almost my quote, actually, because it has a little ring to it. You don't list property, you list property owners. And the most important thing, and equal to that, is you list property owners' motivation. That would be accurate. So thank you for sharing that. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.